Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and a very happy Mother's Day to everybody who is either watching live or may watch this on the replay later. I hope you've had a wonderful day already. Okay. My lips are sticking together, and I'll explain that in a second. I hope you've had a wonderful Mother's Day. You're going to hear about my Mother's Day in a moment, but it certainly is always a bittersweet day for me. Mother's Day is also the day that my daddy died. So, it's sort of like, and really weird. But I try to make sure that I see the best of it. Abraham Lincoln said that all that I am or ever hope to be, I owe to my angel mother. How many of you feel strongly about the fact your mother was an angel? And yet I'm also aware that not everybody does. I've just realized I put the horn back the wrong way around. There we go. Easily fixed. Now you can see it. And it's a lot cleaner than it was. I just think that that's a wonderful way to be able to think about your mother. And as I said, not everybody does, because not everybody had that experience. And I do want to acknowledge that for those people who didn't. For those of you who are new to the broadcast, welcome. We at DearMamaSal are a group of people who get together 3 times a week. And we do so in the reality that, we need to cope with life. And we, as this group, help each other cope, one broadcast at a time, if you like. Because, it's amazing how from one broadcast to the next, the lives of our viewers have totally changed, and our core group that get together. And so hopefully when we do that, and when we talk about it openly, it appears to help a lot of people. So I am delighted that the core group does get together, and thank you all for what you do. I know it's funny for people to think that we would do that. But, we as human beings go through trying to cope with feelings, trying to cope with life, trying to cope with stress, which is the topic of today's broadcast. And that is why we do 3 separate broadcasts every week. 2 on Friday, the lunchtime Pacific time, we do the coping with feelings, which is always jam-packed because I have a lot of them. And then on Friday evening, we do coping with life, and boy, do I have a lot of that in mind. And then on Sunday afternoon, we talk about coping with stress. Now, it's not all serious stuff, and some of it hopefully will make you laugh a great deal. Before we get on to the main stuff, I just wanted to say a happy birthday to Manon in France, and I hope she's been having a wonderful day. And to Ginny's daughter, I believe it's her birthday today as well. I wanted to make sure that those of you who are regulars are aware. Let me just double check here. It was Bernice's anniversary on the 6th. Jodie's little fluff ball called Taylor turned 4 on the 8th. That was yesterday. Beth and Charles will have an anniversary of 31 years tomorrow. We believe it's Jonas's birthday on the 14th, and possibly Andy's as well. And if it is, for those of you who remember Andy from way back when, he will be 21 this year, if my calculation is correct. And also coming up, Emma in Ireland. It'll be her birthday on the 16th. So very happy birthday to everybody. And I hope that you will have a wonderful time. I just noticed that I thought I was going to have my second vaccine in May, but I believe now it's going to be pushed back all the way to July, unless the fact that America has got so many extra vaccines going around now, and that maybe they'll ship some more up to Canada, in which case I'll be back having my second vaccine earlier. The elder M. Russell Ballard said, "There is no role in life that is more essential than that of motherhood." And for all of you who are mothers or grandmothers or whatever, I want to acknowledge that. Jeannie here said, Happy Mother's Day to all the mums, the grandmums, the stepmums, the pet mums. I think that's beautiful to remember all of them. And Jody said the same, to Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Talk about stress. You know, I don't know what stress you've had since the last broadcast, but listen to Lauren's story. Now, for those of you who don't know, Lauren is a very long time viewer. She lives in Tasmania. She is wheelchair bound. She has no feeling in her legs. And this was her story. And you know, I always get permission to repeat these when she sends them to me. This morning I was getting ready for church. I got my foot stuck in my wheelchair. I was behind my wheelchair, sitting on my shower chair, and I moved forward to get something off the shelf. But I didn't realize that my foot got wedged in the process. It took my brother-in-law unscrewing parts of my wheelchair to get them off so that my foot could be freed. My entire leg has been sore all day. But if I have broken something, it won't show up for a day, for a week or so. So it's just a waiting game now. So you imagine that because of the lack of feeling that she has in her feet, she now has to wait to find out if she's broken something by what the body does to her feet. I don't know about you, but that must have been pretty stressful. And I want to thank Lauren, because I don't know what stress you've had in the last couple of days, but, you know, to me, that sort of puts a whole new sort of feeling to it, right? It's just like, wow, imagine that one. Now, I've had a bit of stress this week. Now, let me rephrase that. I've had a bit of stress since Friday's broadcast. I've been a bit of a klutz, to put it mildly. The first thing that I did was I decided to wash my bathroom, my dark gray bathroom rugs. And they are new, and it's the first time that I actually put them in the wash, owing to the fact that all that happens to them is they get wet. And, you know, I make sure they get vacuumed twice a week. But it's just like, you know, first time I actually put them in the wash. I found out it wasn't a very good idea because what gave me the clue, just let me tell you what gave me the clue. The clue was there were so many bits like this running around in my washing machine. And that told me that there was a bit of a problem, which then led me to very quickly put everything into, you know, there are all sorts of bits like this, right? And so I put everything into the dryer. And I had just cleaned the dryer lint trap, so I knew that everything that came out would be from that load. And I thought you would like to see. This was from just that load. There is more to the story. An intelligent person would have put in the brand new rugs all by themselves. But as you know, I have a very big washing machine, and part of me did not want to waste that space. So I put in my dark load. Now, I don't mind telling you that I will probably spend a long time trying to get all these little bits of fluff of everything that was dark in that wash, because it is everywhere. Do any of you relate? Can you believe this much lint from just one load? I mean, really. And now it's all over me again. I thought, well, never mind. I'm just going to relax and amuse myself because I am so amusing, right? Uh, I know intelligent people would never have done what I did, but that's okay. That's why you guys like me. So then I sat down to watch television, and I'm going like this with the remote trying to get the television to work. And boy, it would not work. So what do? We go and get new batteries, right? Put new batteries in, come back. And I'm literally sitting here going like this. And I'm going, this is really weird. Why isn't it working? Well, it took me about an hour to identify the problem, but yet again, and I've got to learn this lesson, yet again, I had unpacked something and I put it in front of the sensor light that, the remote connects with. But it took me about an hour to work that one out. There's more coming. It was not all that I did. Stevie Wonder said on a brighter note that if love is as sweet as a flower, then my mother is that sweet flower of love. Isn't that beautiful? Now, I had a surprise today. I was just getting out of the shower. You're getting ready to do the broadcast, and everything was timed, to my usual timing on a Sunday, and I was, quite happy with that. I was sopping wet out of the shower, sopping wet hair, all that sort of stuff, and the telephone went, so I answered it, and it was Dougie wishing me Happy Mother's Day, and I said, "Thank you so much, honey." And he said, "No, we are at the door." We are at the door. And I went, "Oh, you're going to need to wait a little while because I am, without clothes, sopping wet. I literally got out of the shower. And so I did the least I possibly could, which included wearing a dressing gown, and managed to get to the door. And not only was he there, but Jess was there and Damien. So I was really happy to see everybody. And they were there to wish me Happy Mother's Day. Well, isn't he just the nicest kid in his 30s? And so that was awesome. And I spent a bit of time with them because they haven't, obviously they haven't seen the house since it was redone. And quite honestly, Jess had never seen the house. She hadn't had a chance to be here before the problem happened. And as some of you know, I had a house fire. And things have been redone. Anyway, so it was really nice to be able to show them. And then, you guys would laugh at me because I do know a little bit about kids. And I was saying to Doug and Jess, that I really recommended the new bed. And I said, because it does really fancy things. And I said, "Here you go, Damien, jump on my bed for me." And he did, literally, which reminded me, be careful how you say things to kids. And then I said, "Now lie down." Right? And then I demonstrated all the things it could do. But then I said, "And it does a massage. And Damien, would you like to feel that?" "No." So I said, "Okay, hop off." So he got off. And then I started to demonstrate it. And you could see him feeling it going, "Ooh, that's." And I said, "Now that you know what massage is, now would you like to sit on the bed and feel that? Or lie on the bed and feel it?" "Yes." And I said, "Well, jump back on again. Get back on again and lie down." And he did. And then I was demonstrating all the massage things. And then I said, and that's not all. It has 4 USB ports, 2 on each side, and an underbed light. And I was going through all the things. And it was so funny because it was like this kid. I don't know how old Damien is now. Must be about 6 or 7. But, he was just loving it. And I said, "It doesn't do windows or anything." Let's see what Jeannie had to say. Jeannie said, "Last night, I decided to have some frosted flakes with milk for dinner." I'm delighted. Anybody else like to eat cereal late at night. I'm a mini wheat late at night person. So I totally get that. The box of flakes exploded everywhere. So I had to get the broom and the waste paper basket. Never did eat that meal. Welcome to my world, Jeannie, and thank you. And you're in a hotel, aren't you? Still. So, that's Jeannie's house also burnt. Well, her total house burnt down. And she's going to be back in hopefully a few weeks into her new house. And so Jody is saying she loves cereal for dinner as well. Okay, so that's good. Now, it is census year here in Canada. I think it might be in the States as well. So I got my census document, and we get to do ours online because we actually trust people to be fairly honest. I say it that way because I really roll my eyes at the US sometimes. Anyway, so the good news is I went to go and fill it in, and then I realized it said to be completed on the 11th of May. And I went, okay, well, it's not the 11th, but I'm going to see if I can get away with it anyway. Why? I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have anybody else in the house staying the night in my house because that's not what we do anymore, is it? And so I filled it all out, which was surprisingly easy. And boom, it accepted it. And I'm going, and done. I can go into the filing area. Why would I file it? I don't know. Are you ready for my next bit of stress? This one will be easier for the people who are regular viewers to understand. My beautiful countertop that I do my experiments on, the big, beautiful quartz type countertop. Well, it was a comedy of errors because for some reason I was busy doing something else. And, I know what I was doing. You remember I was talking to you about make your own nail files. So I was making one. And for that, I needed to get some Gorilla Glue out because, and do any of you use that? Don't get paid by them, by the way. Do any of you use Gorilla Glue? Because what I'm about to tell you will be of value if you do. The Gorilla Glue, if you don't know what it is, it's like the gorilla. The Gorilla Glue is like somewhere across between regular glue and super glue. It's sort of very, very strong glue. And I use it a lot. And so what I had done is take the Gorilla Glue out to do the nail file because, for those of you who don't know, in my unboxing on Friday, I showed that I bought some sandpaper. And the reason I do is because I make my own nail files. I just buy sandpaper and cover them. Anyways, I had the Gorilla Glue out, and I must have turned to do something else. I was distracted. And the next thing I knew, I had Gorilla Glue all over my beautiful countertop, but also all over one of my brass Bluebird of Happiness, which I was going to put up here. They were my mom's favorite. She loved these. So I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'll put them on that side. Yeah, I've got two. This is the bigger one, and then there's a smaller one. So I might put them here under my ancestral home. So here's the thing. The Gorilla Glue was all over this and all over the countertop. Now, I don't know what you would do, but I was not a happy camper. I was terrified for my countertop. Funny enough, I had a feeling that Gorilla Glue would probably come off here if I did it the right way. So I was hoping that it would work. Okay, so the good news is that my instinct worked, I think, pretty well. I literally took this and I wrapped it in paper towel on the principle that I wanted the glue to suck into the paper towel while I dealt with what was going on my countertop. Did that make sense? Because if I could get the glue onto, to get sucked up by the paper towel to some degree, it would then be easier to help peel it off and also to see where the glue was. And then I went to the countertop. I literally just looked at my beautiful countertop and I don't mind telling you, I prayed. I prayed that it would come off there. And what I did is I actually, just in case anybody needs to know, I took a chopstick. And with a chopstick, I carefully took as much off the countertop as I could. Now, I think a spatula would have worked. I think I didn't want to use a knife. I was scared of scratching the countertop. But what I was scared of as well was if that Gorilla Glue dried too much, getting it off might pull off the whatever seal there was on the countertop. Does that make sense? So I very quickly, and being the person I am, I was putting it back in the bottle as fast as I could. And when I got as much as I could off, I then put paper towel down and patted it so that I could then rub off as much as I could, which actually worked very well. And then I was down to just actually not very much. I was surprised that I managed to get as much off as I did. And all I did is I took a little bit of nail polish remover on a soft cloth, and I just very quietly rubbed it a bit more, and kept doing that until the whole area was feeling, that you could just slide across again. And then I dried it. I washed it to get rid of the acetone, whatever acetone was left. I washed it and then dried it. And then I prayed some more. I don't mind telling you. And I'm pleased to tell you that my countertop survived. But how many of you can imagine what was going through my mind? Now, Jody, you had a bit of stress last night. Am I allowed to tell your story? Because, this is like, really, how many times is this? For those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin. And so I get to hear a little bit extra from Jody on a daily basis. So, all right. So Jody, I don't know why she's got somebody who lives above her, who apparently has a problem turning off water. And what is this, the third time, I think, at least, that I've heard of, that she ended up with a flood because of what the people upstairs do. And I don't know why. They seem to always do it at a weekend, or is it my imagination, Jody? So you imagine that, apparently Lionel, her husband, went to go into the bathroom to clean his teeth, to go to bed. There we go. Yet another flood. And, unlike me, Jody doesn't have the two bathrooms to choose from. So, and that's what I thought. Yes, on the third floor. Sorry, it is the third flood, and all at weekends. That's what I thought. My brain is still working a little bit. I am delighted to hear that. Hi there, Bernice. Good to see you. Bernice is updating us and saying her sister-in-law has COVID, even after the vaccine. She is a nurse, so she got it from a patient. We're getting tested later to see, because we saw her last weekend. Yeah, Bernice, I think that answers the question that a lot of people are not understanding, that even though you have the vaccination, you can still get COVID. what the vaccination does is hopefully stop you from ending up in ICU. It's like it will protect your body from getting really, really sick. So that is, now it may not be in 100% of the cases. It depends. Had they had both, Bernice, or had she only had the one? Because it's obviously if she'd had both, then she should have been pretty well protected, and it won't affect her too much. But it must have affected her enough that she knew she had COVID. So anyway, thoughts and prayers for your sister-in-law, and please keep us informed. Hi, Erin. Good to see you. How about this quote? I like this one. It says, "A mother is she who can take the place of all others, but whose place no one else can take." Isn't that the truth? Cardinal Mermelade said that. A mother is she who can take the place of all others, but whose place no one else can take. I think that's beautiful. Jeannie, other than the incident with the cornflakes, how are you doing? And do you have any updates for us about when you will be able to go back into your home? It must be getting very close now. I would think June by the sound of it. And so just in case we've missed any of the news. So Bernice is confirming that her sister-in-law had both in vaccines, and she had cold symptoms. So what made her be tested? And that is the other thing I think that people need to understand, that you can already have had COVID and not know it, right? Because for some people, it might not affect you. And even if you think about that, after 2 vaccinations, isn't that amazing? She had COVID, but she just had, cold symptoms. So that is very interesting. Hi, Nada. Happy Mother's Day to you, honey. And thank you for your kind words. Both she and her boyfriend were tested. So, but interesting that they got tested just with cold symptoms, not even with flu symptoms. Yes, absolutely, Bernice. I think it's very clever that you do get tested just in case, so you're not passing it on to anybody else. I like this. I've quoted this, I think, almost every year. It's my favorite quote about Mother's Day or mothers. Rudyard Kipling said, "God could not be everywhere, and therefore he made mothers." And I thought that, I don't know, how many of you go, "Oh, that's such a nice quote. God could not be everywhere, and therefore he made mothers." Now, under the title of "Be Prepared, Not Scared," let me now tell you that my research this week led me to find out, and you should be aware and not be, you should be prepared, not scared. There is already a shortage of chicken, of chlorine, computer chips for cars, washing machines, computer chips for cars, washing machines, and smartphones. There is about to be, if there is not already, a gas shortage. And the reason, to a large extent, is there is a shortage of drivers to drive those trucks. As we come out of the pandemic, the demand is greater, and we haven't got the infrastructure. The people are not ready to work yet, and the whole system is behind. and it'll take a while to get caught up. By the way, I thought really strange, I don't know if any of you have heard about this, but there's actually a shortage of ketchup in the little packages. Do you know, like if you go to, the Golden Arches or whatever, and you will pick up a couple of things of tomato ketchup. And the reason there's a shortage is so many people were working from home and then ordering in fast food with those packages. So the industry used far more than they would normally use, and they have not been able to replace them sufficiently yet. Judy's saying we're now on a countertop list. Yes, that was horrifying, wasn't it? So she's about to move in next month, and her countertops won't be available until August. So they'll have to have some temporary countertops put in the meantime. Ah, interesting. Jeannie's saying that we're still fighting with the insurance company to get the next check. Our builder is running out of funds and insurance is terribly slow. I was quite surprised. I had a notification from my insurance guy, and he's getting sort of to the point where he's going to start talking to me about closing the file, I think. But he wrote to me and he said, I've been looking through all your claims and you have been remarkably fair. Now, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And, for those of you who know me, I'm going, yeah, that's who I am. But it was just that the way that he said it, and I thought, oh, maybe I could have got away with a whole lot more. But it's not who I am. By the way, there is also a shortage of lumber and steel. Now, this means that if you do go shopping this week or whatever, and they have and they happen to have a couple of roast chickens, and you have room in your freezer for chicken, I would grab them, pre-cooked if they've got them, just because you could then, divide it all up and have chicken in your freezer. So I thought it might be something you might think about, because you can pick up a pre-cooked chicken for far less than you can take it home and cook it, for as far as I'm concerned. Jody's saying, I heard somebody mention that they had paid $22 for a 1 kilo or 2.2 pounds of beef just last month, when it was just $9.20. Yes, I want to say it's horrific price here. Jody's saying, I am buying 2 family packs of chicken this week. Good. Oh, and Jeannie's saying that she's found out that interior door prices have tripled. Yes. So, your insurance costs are going to be far greater because of the pandemic. And that is an argument you may need to have with a lawyer. You know what I mean? This is not your fault that the prices, that is totally out of your control. But it is the reality. That's what doors cost. Good point, Jeannie. I would never have thought about that. So, if necessary, you may have to have that conversation with a lawyer backing you up, because that is very much out of your control. It's not that you did anything, greedily. It's just like that's reality. Interesting. Now then, here's another thing under be prepared, not scared. How many of you take, a small group of pills? How many pills do you take every morning? And I guess we all take a different number depending on how many vitamins you take or whatever. And here's something that I would really recommend. Apparently, I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pills. Now, they're not all medicinal type things. When a lot of them are, they are not herbs, supplements and things. But I would recommend that you, at least once a season, because you don't know what next season is going to bring in terms of what pills you're taking, but I'd recommend taking a picture of them. And the reason I would recommend that is because it happened to me where I was rushed to hospital one day and they asked me what pills I took. And I said 5. I knew the number. I don't know if any of you would, you wouldn't have a problem. I now take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got taking 2 more now, but they are, one was antihistamine. Not sure what the other extra one is. Anyway, so what I could remember was that I took 5 every day. I knew the important ones. The important ones are my Synthroid for my thyroid and my Crestor for my blood pressure. No, for my cholesterol. So those are the 2 most important ones, right? And I know about those. But do you think I could remember? I knew that I took Tylenol every day for my arthritis. And then I'm thinking, and I think I take glucosamine, chondroitin, whatever. And, but by then I was going, really? I could not remember the last 2. And then I thought again, and this is another trick that I learned, is I know most of the colors. All right. And so that is the other thing. However, how many of you, if you took that group of pills every day, would know what those pills were? In other words, you could look at them and go, okay, so that is the Tylenol. Oh, that's the multivitamin. I just realized that now. One is a multivitamin. One is the glucosamine, chondroitin. The other is magnesium thing, CalMag. Yeah. And then, and so it's much easier if you can look at the picture. Good idea? And I'd recommend doing it every season. And the reason is because it's easy for them to change. Yeah. And Jeannie's saying, I keep updated list in my pocketbook. All right. And Jody does the same thing. So good idea. I also, when I travel, I have a section in my, and this is another idea actually while I think about it. When I travel, I have one section in my purse that says medical. So that when you open up my purse, you can see my credit cards, but the top layer says medical. And in there, I have my medical insurance and the pills that I take, and it's all together in one little baby baggie. Does that make sense? So that it's easy for, in an emergency, I know they're going to open up my purse to try and find my ID, and they will then see the medical. And the insurance is there, and everything that goes with it is there. So that is just an idea. Now then, under Be Prepared, Not Scared, I want to talk to you a little bit in a second. Just be aware that because it is still tax time and all the rest of it, expect there to be lots of scam calls. And I'm going to talk about scam calls again in a minute. John C. Maxwell said, you'll never change your life until you change something you do daily. The secret of your success is found in your daily routine. How many of you agree with that? It is your daily routine that you need to change if you want to change your habits. And, either you need to put more into it or take some out of it or whatever. But I thought that is such a simple way to say, whatever anybody is complaining about in your life, oh, I'm too heavy. I don't have enough time. Just say, something? Whatever it is that is a problem for you, think about changing your routine to either include it or exclude it. Isn't that a simple way to get rid of a lot of stress? I was saying today that part of the reason that I'm not totally unpacked yet is because I decided to live my life as well. And I said, it was one of the best decisions I made, that I will only unpack for so much of, for 1 hour a day. and the rest of the time I live my life. And that is not getting me unpacked the fastest, but I am stress-free because of it, or pretty stress-free anyway, except for the things I do. But they're normal things, all right? All right, now, when is a scam not a scam? And this is under, again, sort of think about this one. I saw something on my phone, and where is my phone? Ah, I'm looking at my phone. Okay, so I saw a number, when you've got calls and you can see, let me show you, hold on a second. This is on my mobile. Yep. It was under messages. There we go. So under messages, I don't know if you can see that, but I got this strange 110, and then underneath it, it said C1JKTGXR6BFS in brackets or parentheses, whatever you call them. Google is re-verifying the phone number of this device. And how many of you, if you saw that with just 110 at the beginning of it, how many of you would think that's a scam? So my question is, what would you do, even if you suspected that it was a scam? And that is we've been telling you, watch out for these one-ring calls because they are scams. But I looked at that and I went, that looks remarkably like a scam. So I went to Snopes, Snopes, to check to see if it was a scam. Snopes didn't have anything on it. So I thought, that's interesting. Then I went to Google and I took that number that was in parentheses and put that in because I was pretty sure anybody that was querying it would put in that number. And guess what? It was a legitimate thing. And let me tell you what they said. Hold on one second. For your security, they referred me back to Google. And they did have a Google site, but I wasn't sure whether it was a scam site or a real one. But when I got through the other way, all right, I didn't tap on the link directly. I went into Google, checked it, and then got it from a different source. And it said, for your security, we will re-verify from time to time to make sure that your phone's number is still yours. When we re-verify, you might get a text message from Google or see an outgoing text to Google. The message could say something like, Google is verifying your phone number of this device. Well, this is why I thought I would talk to you about it, because that is not a scam. That is a legitimate Google making sure that you still own that phone. So I thought you would like to be aware of that. And anyway, I agree. Jeannie's saying I would erase it immediately. Yes. And I know at least one person whose Facebook account has been hacked this week. So just be aware. All right. So again, what I'm trying to advise you to do, before you nuke everything, make sure that you check it out, all right? Don't press on the link, all right? And definitely don't press on the link, but go check out the link to see what other people are saying about it. And that way you'll be able to tell whether it's a scam or not. Here's a nice quote for Mother's Day. Sooner or later, we all quote our mothers. And I always say every year, how many of you said to yourself, I am never going to say that to my children? or I'm never going to say that, that whatever that thing is that your mother used to say. And then you find yourself repeating it under the same circumstances. If it was what she used to say when you were misbehaving, you're going, I'm never going to say that to my children. And then your children are out of control one day and you're, blah, 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 and you go, ooh, that was exactly what my mother said and exactly how my mother said it. And payback. I don't know about you, but it's just like, I didn't even have children and I was repeating her. And there is my sadness on Mother's Day, so many times that I was never able to have children. And it wasn't that I didn't want them, it was I couldn't physically. And that was very, very sad in a way. But, you know, like all things in life, I didn't let that stop me from having children, as you know. I just made sure that I was adopted unofficially by a number of people and became their mom or their second mom. Their, you know, and it's like I am forever blessed that I made that decision. And it's about, don't say that you can't ever have children if you can't. You know, it was my choice. I spent my whole life donating my time to charities that taught young people things. All right, and I spent 27 years donating my time to teach leadership to young people. Why? That's what I do. And so, you know, it was a magical thing. And what I'm saying to you is, whatever it is in life that life for some reason doesn't allow you to do, don't let it stop you from doing whatever you can. And I always say things like, if they paid me $1 million to have a pretend family, could I do it? Yep. And by the way, I didn't even have to go looking. They found me, and they asked me if they could be mine. And I said, you bet. And as you know, some of them rock up at my doorstep when I'm just walking out of the shower. Oh, so cute. Okay, so Jodie's saying about the comment about sooner or later you will sound like your mom. She said, so true. I say so many things my mom used to. Yeah. And Jeannie's saying, I'm missing my mom at these times. Her 80th was on May the 3rd, and she was laid back and helpful. We all have different memories of our mums. And, you know, I always love that thing on CNN where they say, may their memory be a blessing. Mine personally, you know, and you've heard me say this, you know, mine talks loudest when I'm doing things that she would not approve of. You know, like my table manners are not good, or my English is not correct, which is most of the time now. But, you know, I can still hear her. She speaks very loudly on the English thing. And so, oh, it was her birthday on May the 3rd. Okay, got it, Jeannie. Thank you. All right. And Jodie's saying, I cried yesterday thinking about my mom, just missing her. Took some time to reflect on my beautiful memories with her, and my heart is so grateful that I knew her for 19 years. That is it. Spend your time remembering the fun times. I was remembering, funnily enough, the first dress she ever made me. And she must have spent a lot of time doing that. It was darkish blue, and I wore it to a party on an old sailing ship called the Arethusa. And it was the first party I ever went to. You know, it's funny how your memories go on from there. But it was just such a great memory. And I thought, boy, I wonder how long she spent making me that dress, but she did. My mom was also big into jigsaw puzzles. I don't know about any of you. My sister still does real jigsaw puzzles. Funny enough, my neighbor does jigsaw puzzles, real ones. I do mine online if I feel like doing a jigsaw puzzle. But you know, I think, to be fair, jigsaw puzzles are a great thing to teach anybody to do. because you have to have great patience to do a jigsaw puzzle. Not only do you need great patience to do a jigsaw puzzle, you learn that the way that you build a big picture is by doing little things, right? You don't go from lots of bits to big picture. It's literally bit by bit seeing the connection between things. Charlotte, welcome. Did you hear the news? Did you happen to see that I've actually entered the Vancouver Marathon? I'm going to do the 5K. And that's because of your influence in my life. And I thought I should give you credit for that. And I can't give you my bib picture yet because they haven't sent it. And I've got to get my printer working so that I can print it out. Well, Charlotte, thank you, because I guess if I hadn't met you, I probably wouldn't have thought I was capable of doing it. And, when you think about it, it was all sorts of little pictures. And, when did you start doing your marathon stuff? Was it 10 years ago? Because what I want you to understand is the same thing we were talking about Jody doing intermittent fasting 2 years ago, only to find out now she actually needs it for medical reasons. And so that is the difference. And so, Charlotte, all those years ago, you told me that you were going out and doing all the stuff for the marathon. I did another marathon this week, by the way, by doing 8,000 steps a day. So, it's like you've had influence. You started in the summer of 2013. Yep. So it is very close to that. You ran your first race in October of 2013. Well, thank you. And thank you for talking about it. Thank you for sending me pictures of it, because somewhere in my mind, I kept going, if Charlotte can do it, you'll forgive me for this one, Charlotte, but if Charlotte can do it, so can I. All right, because I have to say quite honestly, Charlotte, with all the love in the world, that you did not look to me like the epitome of somebody I would expect to be having fun running marathons. You know what I mean? You look more like me in lots of ways. And I'm going, well, if Charlotte can do it, maybe I can too. And so I just want to say that bit by bit, you've had that influence. The same way as Jody, bit by bit, is having influence on my being able to keep control of my blood sugar most of the time. Yesterday wasn't so good. I was finishing up roast beef, Yorkshire pudding, roast potatoes, and then dessert. Yes, Charlotte is saying, my physical and mental health have greatly benefited from outdoor activities. Yes, well done. And thank you is what I'm trying to say for inspiring me in your own way to do something better. And I'm certain you've had influence on a lot of people, Charlotte, but it would be remiss of me not to thank you. And I want to tell you, whenever I send you the confirmation that I did it, because I'm going to, that I did it, and I get my little medal thing, which will be digitally, because you get to run it digitally. You will know that's got your name on it somewhere. Thank you. Spring cleaning. I wanted to talk a little bit about spring cleaning, and this is something that I learned from Lauren in Tasmania, which is, consider this week, or maybe pick a day a week, and go through your inbox on your computer and see how many people are sending you updates, subscription type stuff. And then decide, do I really want these? I know that Lauren did a really great job one day. She went through the people who were sending her stuff and deleted anybody that was promoting that she should buy something because she was trying to save money. The reason I'm trying to do it is I literally have about 4,000. No, I lie. I got more than that. Hold on a second. 4,000 is not the right number. Let me tell you the truth. Hold on one second, people. I have 18,588 unread messages in my inbox. Most of them, of course, are people trying to sell me things. And it got out of hand in the early days of DearMamaSal. And then after a while, you just lose control. And now I just go through my inbox to work out the ones I do want to answer and leave the others. But I am now trying to go through my inbox, and every week I try and find one person that is sending me stuff. And then I search my inbox and just bulk remove them. And then at the end of it, I unsubscribe. So thanks to Lauren for that one. But it's a great spring cleaning trip. Now, I wanted to ask you, and this is about another tip. How many of you wash strange things in your dishwasher, if you're lucky enough to have one? And what do you wash in your dishwasher that people wouldn't think of? Now, I know some people cook in their dishwasher. You know, I've heard people who have warmed things up in their dishwasher. But I must admit that when I'm doing spring cleaning, I will take all my ceramics and put them in the dishwasher, and they're all clean. You know, rather than take them and individually, you know, try and clean them all or whatever. I will put all of my ceramics in carefully, you know, put them in carefully. You know, when I say ceramics, what am I talking about? You know, figurines and stuff like that, and put them in there. Jeannie is saying, I've washed York's baseball caps in a dishwasher. Yes. Jody said, I've heard of people steaming fish in a dishwasher. I have too. I've heard of, I've actually watched a catering company warm up, reheat baked potatoes in a dishwasher. So I thought, you know, we should talk about these things because, I know what I do in my dishwasher. Well, I've got decorative plates, you know, a couple of them that my mom had. And I will, you know, not put it on hot. But, you know, I won't I'll let it use hot water, but I won't put it on hot dry. And I'll just run them through. What else? By the way, stuffed toys. Great way. If you don't, or you can put them in the washing machine. Talking about washing machines, when did you last take out the little tray into which you put the detergent and everything else? Because one of the ways to stop the stress of your machine looking a bit grungy is to actually do that. I try, you know, I do things by season. Every season, I try to remember to take it out, and I put that in the dishwasher. You know, why would I work hard? You know, let the dishwasher fix it. So that's another thing I do. So I thought I'd add that in the hope that it. How many of you are going, actually, that's a good idea? And I go, yeah, of course, that's why I've added it in. So any other things, let me know. And if you happen to be watching it on the replay and you've got other ideas of what we can do in the dishwasher, please feel free to let me know. Anybody feel stupid since Friday? If so, let me know. And I thought this one, practice isn't the thing you do once and you're good at it. It's the thing you do that makes you good. Do you understand? Everything's easy to do once you know how to do it, but it sometimes takes a lot of practice to learn how to do it. And so for me, it's about how many things do you give up on? I wondered whether you understood. Hang on a second. What did I do with it? Uh-oh. I didn't know how to get Gorilla Glue off here. But what I did know intellectually was that if I could get to the glue fast enough before it really got solid, I probably wouldn't have too much of a problem. And that if I could keep it in water, I probably wouldn't have too much of a problem. So you understand, putting the paper towel on it to absorb the glue. And then what I did is I then put all of this in water overnight. And I've got most of it off. You can still see there are bits of it there on the back. Can you see that? You notice I cleaned the front before the back. And that's human nature, isn't it? But I can see here that, and that was another reason I wanted to put the paper towel there, was because it helps you see where it still has the glue. And while I'm sitting here, let me see if I can get that close enough. Can you see in this little section right here, there is still glue with paper towel on it. And in fact, if I get it that close to you, you can see there's still quite a bit of glue on there. Yeah. Little bit on its face still. But now I've got enough of it off that I can probably take a plastic scourer, or my nails apparently, and just get the rest of it off. But do you understand that this, to save this, required not panicking? All right? And not go, oh, I put Gorilla Glue all over this, it's now destroyed, throw it away. No. It is like anything else. How much time do you want to spend fixing it? Is it worth it to you? For those of you who remember my battle with the filler foam, I am still working on my top and my blue jeans. What I'm doing is I'm now very carefully, with a little bit of acetone, removing a little bit, as much as comes off, just getting it one more layer off it. Then I throw it back in the washing machine to wash it, and then let it dry, not on the dryer, but let it dry. Then I put it down and take a little bit more. And I'm doing this with every wash that I do it. And I have got most of it off the top, except for that bad bit that's on the sleeve. And I am about to start now on the blue jeans, because I wasn't too worried about the blue jeans because they didn't have very much on, but that top really did, as you know. And the lesson here is it worth it to spend the time to save it? And I could justify throwing that top away. I've had it many, many years, but there's a reason why I've had it many, many years. I like it. So if I can save it, I will. And to me, it's not a waste of time. And so think about that. I wanted to update you on my lost and found list. As you know, I have been having issues with unpacking and not finding certain things. So I still, I thought I had lost my original drill, but I did find that. I think I might have told you that. I still have not found my mother's pearls, which on Mother's Day obviously hurts a bit. I still haven't found the red box cutter, but I'm still looking. I know it's going to come up, probably when I'm finished unpacking. Next tip for decluttering. I try to make sure, part of what gives us stress is that our places look cluttered. And so I'm not sure if we discussed this last week. Did we talk about this last week? Where one of the places that it's a really important that you declutter is the entryway. What is, when you come through your front door, stop this week, right? As you come through the front door, stop and go, what looks cluttered? And just, if you can, make it a game and say, every time I walk in, I'm going to take one thing and put it away somewhere else, because at the moment it's looking cluttered there. Do you think you could do that? And just go, okay, so that's, and the problem is that we've had it there for so long, it doesn't look cluttered. And yet, I'm pretty certain if you took a picture of it and sent it to somebody else, they would say it does look cluttered. I'm looking at my entryway, which obviously is to my left here. And I have got all sorts of crud on there that really I need to find a better place for. And that's what I'm going to do. And remember, if you want to have what I call a show home type thing, the ideal is to only have one thing on every flat surface. That is the trick. That's what a realtor will tell you. You want to know how far do I need to declutter? When you do a show home, they like to have just one thing per surface. All right, so Jeannie's saying, I wore a dress today with shoes that weren't that compatible. I received flowers, but no vase, so I'm using my tub for ice cubes. I totally, when you live in a hotel for a month or so, believe you me, I want to tell you, Jeannie, I totally understand. I cannot tell you the number of compromises I made when I was living in that hotel. So you have my love and understanding is the best thing I can say. Jody's saying, yes, we become desensitized after seeing the clutter for a while. It normalizes our brains. Okay, so, all right, I'm going to do it so that, let me put my money where my mouth is. Hold on a second. Okay, so, that's in the way. So, this is the unit. Okay, as you come through the front, hi there, Lauren, we were talking about you. How's your foot, honey? So this is, as you walk in my entryway, this unit is on the left. And as you can see, I have an old typewriter on there, which is staying. But I've got all sorts of other things that make it look cluttered. All right? So by next week, I will do what I can to get that down to maybe 3 things on it. That's a challenge. I can do this. All right, so Lauren's saying that her foot is sore, but you'll survive. I love the typewriter too. You know why I kept it, Jody? In fact, it has a big story behind it. First of all, I didn't find it. Yvonne's son found it on a garage sale day one day, and he brought it all the way home and gave it to me. And I said, why did you bring it to me? And he said, because you talked about learning to type on a typewriter like that. And I said, yes, I did. And, it's just like, the reason I have it is to remind me how far we've come. And if you had told me, 50 years ago that, or even more, 60 years ago, perhaps, that in 60 years' time, Sal, you're going to be doing film editing on a computer. What's a computer, I would have said. But you know what I mean? It's like our technology has taken us so far. And I just want to say that one of the things I don't want to forget is how far I've come. And funny enough, when Damien came in today, the first thing he saw was that typewriter, and he stopped and he wanted to touch it and see it. And I said, have you not seen one like that before, Damien? No. And I said, that's how I learned to type. We didn't have computers in my day. We learned to type on something that looked like that. And so to me, it's an important part of my background. So think about that. If you've got an entryway, see if you can tidy up. Jody, something that's doable for you or not? Is it something that you think you could? I know that you don't go in and out a great deal, but maybe, think about it that together you and Lionel could do it. Oh, interesting. Jody's saying that when she saw the picture of the typewriter, she immediately heard the theme from Murder, She Wrote. Isn't that wonderful? Yeah, Jody. And Jody's saying, yes, I need to declutter. Now, you do realize that if I am really smart, I would take everything that needs to come off there and put it in a drawer and out of sight, out of mind. But you know me, I like to see my things. So therefore, I may have to put some on walls or something. But even my walls are going to start getting cluttered up in a minute. Did I tell you that Patty, Patty is my realtor. When Patty saw the picture of my bedroom now, she said, oh, show him. And I said, don't you dare mention those words to me. The last thing I need is another show home. And, it was funny that the word show home had that reaction in my body. Like, no, I don't want another show home. So, Jody, how about you and I, buddy up here to clean up our entryway? And Bernice is really good about sending pictures of before and after, which is why I wanted to take the picture so that I can send it to her and let her know that I'm working on it. Gilda Radner, such a great comic, said, motherhood is the biggest gamble in the world. It is a glorious life force. It's huge and scary. It's an act of infinite optimism. For those of you who became mothers, how many times did you say, I should have had to take an exam on this before I was allowed to produce children? I don't care how many books I read, I needed to take an exam to make sure I understood it. Like, I thought I understood it. Apparently I didn't. Okay, so Lauren's saying, can I be included in that, but I'll be decluttering my bedroom? Absolutely. We're here to help people do what they want to do. So, and don't you dare do the whole bedroom. We're talking one surface, Lauren, right? We have to live our lives as well, just one surface. And I just mentioned the entryway because it's one of those things. And what I'll do is each week I will show you a picture of something else I need to declutter, and maybe it'll inspire somebody else. I thought this was nice. Seth Godin said that, wouldn't it be great to be gifted? In fact, it turns out that choices lead to habits. Habits become talents, and talents are labeled gifts. You are not born this way, you get this way. So how many of you are creative? And people say, it's a gift. And I go, no, it's not. I had somebody walk in and see my eagle up above my fireplace and went, yeah, which is a painting, yeah, this big, and going, wow, did you do that? And I went, yep. Oh, what a gift. And I'm going, Jody and Lauren will tell you this was not a gift. Jody and Lauren will tell you that I started on little squares of paper like this with little bits of paint to try and do that. And I spent a year doing little bits of paper, just, I think almost a year, just trying to learn how to do it. And now I've course, don't have the skill anymore because I haven't done it for over a year. So it's just like, but I will get back to it. But when I look around my house and I see all the paintings here are mine, I go, I'm beginning to think it's a gift, but it wasn't a gift. Think about that. Jody, that wasn't a gift. I spent hours and hours and hours. And you and Lauren, bless your hearts, had to endure many pictures going, what do you think of this? And I thank you for that. And really, the gift that I have, if I have one, is thanks to you guys in terms of doing that style of painting. So thank you, guys. How about this one? Vince Lombardi said, winning is not a sometime thing, it's an all-time thing. You don't win once in a while. You don't do things right once in a while. You do them right all the time. Winning is a habit. Unfortunately, so is losing. And I wanted to mention that because how many people have said to me, oh gosh, I wish I could do that. I don't have the talent. Right? And I look at them and I go, neither did I. Oh yeah, you obviously have it in you. You're obviously a creative person. And I'm going, what is a creative person? Think about that. What is a creative person? Now, can I tell you something really strange? I can remember when I first met Yvonne that she had a keyboard with the numbers on it. Okay, a number section. Okay, let me turn my keyboard around. Oh, I did that last time and totally messed up everything. Hold on, people. Don't go anywhere. Okay, there we go. So my keyboard has got a number section on it, all right? And, and she literally would be able, on the number keyboard, to just go da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I going, I would love to be able to do that. Have any of you ever seen, and just thought to yourself, I'd love to be able to do that? And I went, how did Yvonne learn to do that? See, and I want to say, well, it's because she's an accounting type that she can do that. And I'm going, no, Sal. She must have done it enough that she learned how to do it. And I started thinking about using my, first of all my keyboards now have number pads on them. I won't buy a keyboard without a number pad. I will, all my computers have a number pad on them. And guess what? You use them enough. It's amazing that you get to be quite good at them. And what I found was I'm not as good as Yvonne is, and I never will be, but it doesn't matter. You see, the important thing is I can use them now. And I don't go, I go, da, 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 da. I go, of course, I check it twice, but, I can do it. And Bruce Lee said, and I thought this was relevant as well. Bruce Lee said, I fear not a man who has practiced 10,000 kicks. Yeah, Bruce Lee being the Taekwondo type guy. He said, I fear not a man who practiced 10,000 kicks, but I do fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Everything is easy to do once you know how to do it, and you have done it enough, people call it a gift. Think about that. Now, Jody's saying, you are talented, Sal. There's no denying it. You'll pick it up again in no time. If I want to. If I make the time. I haven't made time to paint except for that skyline. Oh, it's on my list of what I've lost. Jody, could you make a note of that? I've lost the picture, the skyline picture that I drew. And the one that I started. Both of those are missing at the moment. They've got to be here somewhere. Now then, I've got very bad news that I need to share with you. How many of you saw my beautiful spa-type bathroom scale that is pure glass and is so pretty? Yes, Kimmy's saying finally they got their cell and internet service back. It was out for 24 hours. Well, I'm so glad. And by the way, I forgot to say this. I should have started with this. Was I the only one just a little bit worried yesterday about that big piece of Chinese debris coming at us fast? And I'm going, with my luck this year. And then I went, no, my luck is better. You know. And I must admit that when I heard it had landed safely in the water, I was so pleased. And the fact that it was west of the Maldives, it is the only time, I must admit, that I've ever not wanted to be in the Maldives, because the Maldives are so beautiful. You know, the water there is just turquoise, and yeah, it just is a beautiful area. Anyway, never mind. About the scale. For those of you who saw me do the unboxing type part of it, you will remember how pretty it is. Now, you're probably thinking I've broken it already. Well, touch wood, no, that isn't the problem. But what is the problem is it appears to weigh me heavier than I want to know about. So either I need to do something very different. Remember I was saying earlier, if you want to change anything in your life, you need to change your routine. And I need to change my routine, because really, I don't know how. And then I thought, Sal, what do you expect? You've been eating roast beef dinners all week, you know, because I'm trying not to put things in the freezer that I don't need to. And I'm going, yeah, right. Yeah, Lauren's saying that satellite, that piece of Chinese satellite junk was due to hit Australia. It was due to hit a lot of places, depending when it came through. So, I gather if it carried on in that trajectory, it had already got past Africa. I tell you, was anybody else surprised that there wasn't more about it at the time that it was due to hit? Because I kept going to the news thinking, surely they must be letting us know that it's come through the atmosphere or whatever. And I couldn't find anything. I was quite surprised. I kept going, why aren't they telling us? Maybe it was just me. But the good news was it landed in water. And as far as I'm certain a lot of fish have a headache, but I didn't hear that anybody was hurt in that process. Yeah, it seemed that it was almost like there was a media blackout on it coming through the atmosphere. Maybe they did do that. Maybe they did that so as not to cause a panic. Why else? Can you think of any other reason? Why would they not tell us, okay, it's come through the atmosphere, and if you're living in the US or Canada, you're good now. You can breathe. I would have liked that. If you're living in Europe right now, you might want to take a deep breath in, but it appears to look, no, it's going past you. I would have liked to, in Africa, Africa, it's heading your way. It missed Africa. On its way to India now. And it was just like, I don't know. The only reason I could think of, Jody, is they didn't want to have. No, there wasn't more important news at the time. No, I disagree. I kept watching. CNN had a stupid, well, not a stupid. They had a canned program up, so it wasn't that there was bigger news, because they would have interrupted that program, I think. Anyway, I was a bit upset, but the good news was, even though the scale appears to be wrong, I say wrong because I'm going, really? I could not have put all that weight back on again. But the good news is I did do a marathon this week. I did 56. I can prove it. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. 50, I just squeaked it, 56,075. There we go. Steps. So, and that is by changing my habit. Oh, and I made a mistake about my sleep today. My watch is now caught up and said I slept for 7 hours and 40 minutes last night. Isn't that wonderful? Happy about that. All right, now then, did any of you hear that we didn't need to be too worried because 70% of the earth is water? Did any of you hear that bit? And that I found interesting because that means that 30% didn't have water, that was land. But here's the thing that blew me away. Did you know that only 10% of the land is populated? That struck me as really amazing. What about you? I'm going. Have they been to Hong Kong? And then I go, yeah, but they've probably been to Africa as well. So, anyway, so I hope you've had a fun broadcast. I hope it's relieved some of your stress. I hope that you, if you end up in pain this week, will think of poor Lauren, who's waiting to find out whether the feet that she cannot feel. So, Lauren, you can feel the pain or you can't feel the pain. That's what I'm trying to understand. Do your legs still give you that sensation of pain, or are they, I know you can't move them. I mean, you can move them manually. That's once a year. You can move them manually, but you have no muscle ability to move them, is what I'm trying to say. You can feel the referred pain in your hip. Now that makes perfect sense to me. That, although you haven't got those sensations in your feet, your brain refers that pain to your hip, which is the lowest. I would gather then you are paralyzed from the lower hips down, right? See, that's interesting, that the brain goes, I've got pain, but I can't tell you where it is lower than your hips, because that is amazing, Laura. I learned something today. I never knew about that being referred pain. That's the same thing, Lauren, if I'm correct. That would be the same thing where they say that people who've had a leg amputated will wake up and start to scratch the leg that isn't there because they can feel the sensation, but it's not from the leg. It's the referred pain. Jeannie saying, thanks for the broadcast. What's cooking for tonight? I have finished the roast beef and Yorkshire pudding. I'm going to try and have salad. Oh, I did want to show you one other thing. You guys probably already do this. It's going to be wet. But never mind, I can do this. Hang on. Here's something that I really find works well, and I'm certain you guys probably already do it, but in case you don't, I will take half a bottle of smoothie mix, all right, and I will put it in the freezer at an angle. Hang on a second. I don't think I can show you unless I get some of this out. And then what I do, okay, now you can see it. And then what I do is I fill it up with almond milk or whatever. And what I got inside now is a core of frozen smoothie mix. All right. And so this will last me all evening, and it will still taste like a freshly made smoothie because all the time it is releasing little bits. and I don't have to add ice. When I finish the broadcast, I will pour all that's in here back into here and just to enjoy it. But do any of you do that? Kimmy, I don't want to hear that. Kimmy's saying we're cold here now. And late Monday we're going to have snow. You're in Kentucky right now. Wyoming, right? Wyoming, I think. This is not a good advertisement. Oh, that's cold now. All right, so then Lauren's saying, yesterday I had referred pain near my knee. When I was born, paralyzed from the belly button down, but now I'm paralyzed from the knee. I've known you how long? And I didn't know that. You are getting sensation back. How amazing. And let me repeat that. Listen to what Lauren said. When I was born, I was paralyzed from the belly button down, but now I am paralyzed from the knees down. There is hope, people. Your body is regenerating itself. That brings tears to my eyes. I didn't know that, Lauren. That is amazing. May it continue. May it continue to continue to regenerate on its way down. That is so exciting. No doctor can figure out why my sensation is coming back, albeit that it's patchy. Hey, it's coming back. There is, that is amazing, really amazing. Thank you for letting us know. Guys, I need to get out of here. On that, I mean, one of the things you learn being a speaker is don't top a topper. That is what they call a topper. That is an amazing piece of thing. Lauren, that gives us all hope. Whatever is wrong, we have a chance. All right, we just have to keep doing what we can. And Jody is a fine example of that as well. So everybody, I love you dearly. Remember that coping with stress is a lot of it is here. It is, I could have totally ruined my countertop. And I just said to myself, it is what it is. Do what you can to save it. And if you can't, it's all on you. But I didn't intentionally knock over a whole bottle of Gorilla Glue. No, wasn't intentional. So there was no point in beating up on myself. It was just like, it was a mistake. It was an accident. That's why they call it an accident. And would I have been really sad to lose one of the bluebirds of happiness that my mom had with her all her life? Yes, I would have been very sad, but I could have managed. What I want to say is be gentle with yourselves. We all make mistakes. Have hope. And like Lauren, know that sometimes things get better, not worse. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you for being here with us. And for all of you who are regulars, thank you for sharing your stress. Thank you for helping others see it's just another week and we can cope with this week. Bring it on. Bye-bye for now.